Hello viewers, welcome to yet another edition of your favorite sports program, Baina Sports Live on Baina TV. Here we talk sports in 30 minutes. Today we're looking at football. Our discussion will be centered on all the happenings in the world of football, as well as some of the news in the Ghana Football Association. The GFA has some trending issues I'll be looking at. We'll also be looking at some of the matches that happened during the course of the week. And I'm talking about the Champions League. It's a league for the champions. If you're not a champion, you're not going to play. As well as some of the matches that happened in the Europa League. We'll also be looking at some of the upcoming matches in the EPL, in the Spanish La Liga, in the Italian Serie A, in the German Bundesliga, as well as the French League. And my name is Ahmed Tijani. I'm here in the studio with Mr. Henry Osah, one of the finest sports analysts in the country. He merits his discussion of facts and figures. Right about now, we go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, the program starts. Don't go away. Welcome back from that quick commercial break. Now let's quickly look at what is happening in the GFA. The GFA has some trending issues I'll be looking at. Now it says that Baba Rahman playing well deserves call-up, says CK Akono. Now the full story says Coach CK Akono has given reasons for the inclusion of Chelsea left-back Baba Rahman in his squad for next month 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Sudan. The 26-year-old spent last season on loan at Real Mallorca, but his spell with the Spanish club was cut short by injuries. Mr. Henry Osah, welcome to the show once again.
Thank you so much, Tijani.
For having. All right. So let's look at the story that says that Baba Rahman playing well deserves call-up by CK Akono. Is it the right move for him?
Well, we all know Baba Rahman has been an integral part of the team for some time now, until he had a lot of injuries. So he's not a new name. And he's been very good anytime he's been called into the team. The problem with Baba Rahman now is injuries. Right now his career is plagued with so much injuries. So he just returned from injuries actually. And his team, Real Mallorca, added him to the reserve team. So he's been playing with the reserve team for some time and he hasn't joined the first team yet. So the question is it right for CK Akono to include him into the national team now? I don't believe that is right at the moment. I think he should give him some time.
But he has played a couple of matches, friendly matches that he has played well, and he's fit. He's back into the side, and I think it's for me. I think it's a good call-up for him since he's now fit and he has played a lot of games and is back into shape. I think it's about time you put it there to compete with players with Gideon.
Well, I think you can't really justify a player by one or two friendly matches. This is a national team we're talking about here. So if you are looking at calling a player, you'd have to consider what he's doing in his team. I think that his team has to first play him in the first team, so that we can look at his statistics and all that. Then based on that, we can call him now. What if he's not fully fit? I think that's why they are playing in the reserve team, because they want him to be fully fit and then probably join him to the first team. Okay, that can make his place a bit concrete.
Does it mean in the national team you don't have options if Baba Rahman is not available? You don't have equally good players like Baba Rahman in his absence to fit in?
I think that is also a cause for concern. The fact that CK Akono seems to be rushing Baba Rahman back into the team is a concern that we don't really have enough fullbacks, and that is another area that I think they should be looking at.
So we're coming. We have some local talent that we can look at to, add up to the squad for them to get. Habib Mohammed of Kotoko is one of the good players I'm looking at. He's a very fine player. I think he will do a good job. So, but Baba Rahman, for him to come back is a good thing for me, but I realize that it's too much early for him to.
Yeah, I think the problem is the timing.
So
the timing. I think he should be given a little bit of time because it seems to be too quick or too early.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at the next story that says that Hafo Harrison comes with immediate solution, says CK Akono. Now, the full story says Ghana coach CK Akono says Hafo Harrison is a player who comes with immediate solutions rather than a long-term one. The Columbus Crew right back was on Friday included in Ghana's 23-man squad for the next month's AFCON qualifier against Sudan, bringing to an end a long absence from the national team. For me, I'm looking for immediate solutions, and if you want to do that, you don't want to play around. You want to go straight to the point there, and therefore the immediate solution are those guys. Once again, CK Akono is in the news, and this time around it has to do with Hafo Harrison coming with an immediate solution.
I think it's a good decision because for some time now, people have been advocating for the experienced players to come back to the team. And I think it's good because we have to have a blend of young talent and then experienced players as well. So it's very important that we bring these veterans to the team. At least their experience can help, or the young players can learn from them. Yeah.
Okay. So let's also look at what is happening in the GFA. And once again, Mr. CK Akono is saying that Llewellyn is one big talent for the future. Now, the big story says, Coach CK Akono says Jamie Llewellyn is one fine talent who has the potential to grow into a big player. The teenager who plays for Grutterford was on Friday named in Ghana's 23-man squad for the 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Sudan. Coach CK Akono told GFA News that Llewellyn is hope for the future. He is a young man who's all over the place with lots of teams interested in him because of what he has done.
Llewellyn, I think he's 19 years old now, and he's a German with Ghanaian descent. And so
already had an experience with one German player who came to the national team, and it didn't end well. Yeah. Now you are bringing another German talent to the team. 19-year-old is a young talent, but the question is Ghana the Black Stars the right national team for him to play, or do you think we just want to bring him on board, use him after all, you just, kick him out, just like you've done to a lot of players, or do you feel like this guy is here to stay for a long time? In the absence of CK Akono as coach, and whoever comes in, we still call this guy, because you had Kwesi Appiah, you had Kelvin Prince Boateng, you have Quincy Abeye coming in from other. You've had experience with them. At the end of the day, these guys didn't stick around for a longer period of time. So, Llewellyn, is it too early for him to be included into the Ghana national team squad?
Well, he's 19 and he has played. Last year he played 22 games for Grutterford, and then he scored 3 goals and he made 1 assist, which is not too encouraging as a midfielder. So as to why CK Akono seems to be calling him at the moment is a bit questionable.
Do we lack talent in the country?
I don't think so.
Is there enough talent in Ghana?
I think so. I think the problem boils down once again to the fact that we are not serious or confident with our local base players. So we always have to go and look for those who play abroad, because this guy is just 19 years and he hasn't really shown enough. And you have a lot of players who are young in Ghana who are even showing enough, but they are not giving call-ups. So it probably boils down to this fact again, that we don't seem to be confident in our local base players. But once the person is a foreigner, it kind of looks like he's good to play for Ghana.
Because this is his first call-up in the national team. He has not played with these guys for a longer period of time. Coming into the national team, the strategy, the players, gelling together. So it's like, it's going to be a lot of work for CK Akono, actually. It's going to be a lot of work for him to really find a plan that works, that suits the guys and the other players coming in. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Ghana have the right coach in CK?
Well, that is another very debatable question. I'm a person who doesn't like to judge quickly. I think it's too early. We are still in the early days of CK's reign. So that would be premature to say that he's not fit for the job or he's fit for the job. I think let's give him a little bit of time, then we can assess him properly. But for now, I can't really tell because his first match against Mali was abysmal. But he came back stronger in his second match against Qatar. But even with that, people are saying it's not a strong opponent, so you can't really.
That is what I was coming to talk about, because looking at the opponent that we are playing against Qatar, you know, they are a really good football nation. You know, Mali, they are one of the African giant football nations. You understand? They have a good squad, you know, good coach, good players. You understand? But the thing is, playing against Mali and losing.
Well, losing against Mali is no news. We've been losing against Mali for some time now, even during the reign of Akwesi Appiah and the likes. So Mali is a big team, like you said. So to lose against Mali is not much of a news. But then the performance itself was not good enough. We didn't create enough chances. We didn't hold the ball for long and all that.
So what went wrong? Do you think
I think the tactics went wrong, probably because it was his first time, and the players were also, most of the players were new and all that. They were probably finding it hard to gel together and all that. So I can't really blame him for that. Yeah, let's give him a little bit of time, then we can properly assess him.
But do you think the fans will be that patient?
No. Ghanaian fans are not patient enough.
Ghanaian fans can behave sometimes because they want results. They want to see what these guys have to offer them, because
they want immediate results. Yeah.
I think, do you think Ghana have lost that fear factor? The Black Stars have lost that fear factor in them. You know, cast your mind back to 2006 when you have the likes of the Michael Essien, the Sule Muntari,
SMS,
the Stephen Appiah, the Samoa Jans. You know, back then, you know, when Ghana is playing, you realize that there's so much love. We understand there's so much, you know, passion for the game. There's so much talent. But now those guys are not seem to be around anymore. Are we still a strong football nation? Or I feel like now, you know, and looking at the fact that Christian Antich is no more at the reign of affairs, do you think Ghana is lacking in some areas?
Yes, certainly. Because, like you said, the fear factor is no more. Now we are just like an ordinary team. Yeah. In those days, there was that fear factor because we had good players in the likes of Michael Essien, Sule Muntari, Stephen Appiah, Samoa Jan. These players were top players, and they were not just talented or skillful. They were also zealous. They played with enough zeal, and that is another area that I think is missing in the team now. We are not really seeing that zeal in the team anymore, and it's a real cause for concern now. So yeah, so the team, I think that is why people are advocating for some of these experienced players to be called back, so that probably their experience could help. And then there was also a question of unity.
There's no unity in the squad?
Yes, I don't know if you've heard that. There's a lot of news on that. There's a lot of information on that there's not that of unity in the team.
Okay.
Yes, and so that in the days of Stephen Appiah, I think there was enough unity there.
There was leadership,
and you could see from the way they were playing, there was teamwork.
Of course.
But now you can't really see that teamwork there.
Okay.
Yes, so it's a real cause for concern.
Okay, so let's quickly look at some of the interesting results that happened during the course of the week, and I'm talking about the Champions League. Just like I said, it's a league for the champions. If you're not a champion, you're definitely going to go to play. And looking at some of the interesting results that happened, let me start with Atletico Madrid beating Salzburg by 3-2. Did you see that coming?
Of course. I was expecting Atletico Madrid to beat Salzburg. Atletico Madrid is one of the top teams in Europe and in Spain. So playing against a team like Salzburg, I even thought they could have probably scored more.
And as well as looking at Real Madrid drawing with Mönchengladbach at home.
That is a big surprise. At home. Real Madrid...
No, Madrid were playing away. Mönchengladbach was playing home. but did you really see that Madrid was going to draw that match? Because Gladbach and Madrid, I know Madrid is an experienced team. Won a lot of Champions League trophies, and we're expecting them with the caliber of coaches that they have and the caliber of players that they have. They should have been an easy ride in it against Mönchengladbach. But now, football is football, you can't determine where the game is going, how the game is going to end. But was it a fair resource for Real Madrid? Did they get a job done?
Madrid, as a name, you don't expect them to draw 0-0 with Mönchengladbach. But Madrid currently, you expect them, because since the beginning of the Champions League, they've been very, very poor.
What do you think is happening to the current Madrid squad? Is the absence of Ronaldo still having an effect on the team?
That is another question that begs an answer. And because the team is still the same, just apart from Ronaldo's absence, it's still the same. Zinedine Zidane coaching. The players there's still the Modric's and the Krooses and all those players.
But still, they have Hazard.
Hazard hasn't been Hazard since he came to Madrid. I think he's still trying hard to gel with the team. The Hazard we knew in Chelsea is not the Hazard we are seeing in Madrid.
Do you see that as too much responsibility for him as a player?
Of course. There's too much responsibility on his shoulders. So Madrid is the biggest team probably in Europe. So when you are giving that responsibility, it's a very huge thing.
And Manchester United beating Leipzig 5-0.
I didn't see that coming at all, because
well, now I know you're a Manchester United fan. I know definitely a Manchester United fan. But the question is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the right man for the job?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I personally, I don't believe he's the right man for the job. I don't believe, because I think tactically he's found lacking. He's mostly found lacking tactically, and I think he doesn't have plan B. Whenever things are not going well, like when they played against Chelsea, the 0-0 game, when things are not going well, he seems not to have any second plan or any alternative to try to change things. He seems not to be having that, and it's not a good sign of a good coach.
One of the big matches that happened during the course of the week, and I'm talking about the big match between Juventus and FC Barcelona. Barcelona won by 2-0.
Yes.
Away to Juventus. Yeah,
and in Ronaldo's absence due to COVID-19. So of course, if Ronaldo is not in the team, some might say it's not too strong a team. And
do you think Barcelona itself is a stronger team? It's a stronger contender for the Champions League? If you look at the current Barcelona team, during the era of Pep Guardiola, when they used to have, the Iniestas, the Xavis, the system was, the tiki-taka system was better then. But Ronald Koeman coming in now, a much improved or much different Barcelona side. Do you think they have the fear factor, or they have the cutting edge for them to win the Champions League?
No, I think they don't have that at the moment. Ronald Koeman is actually trying to build the team once again, because the team obviously has been bad for some time now. They were beaten 8-2 by Bayern Munich, and that brought to bear the weakness of the team. The team had been weak for some time now, but that just exposed it so much. So Ronald Koeman inheriting the team from Quique Setien was like inheriting something that was not so strong. Okay. So he's now trying to build it once again. So I don't expect immediate results now. So I don't see them as a contender for the Champions League, no.
Okay, let's quickly look at what is happening also elsewhere. And Chelsea beating Krasnodar away by 4-0.
Well,
Frank Lampard has been in the news for the wrong reasons over these past weeks. But for him to win against Krasnodar by 4-0, would you say he's not getting his game plan right, or is one of those games that fell through and he won?
Well, I sometimes compare Frank Lampard with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They almost look the same. they seem to be doing wrong, and then when the eyebrows are risen as them and everybody is saying that they will be sacked, then they just win out of the blue moon. You understand? So
do you see them as a lucky coach?
I would say so. I would say they're lucky coaches somehow. I would say so, because you don't really see the consistency. consistency is one sign of a good coach. And you don't see that with either Lampard or Solskjaer. But then when everybody thinks, oh, we are going to sack them, then they just pull a surprise and they just win by a huge margin. So Lampard, for me, I think Lampard, personally, when they even signed him, I thought it was too premature. Because Lampard doesn't have too much experience in coaching. We know he was a great footballer, but in the aspect of coaching, he doesn't have so much experience. He just coached Leeds. I think it was Derby FC. Derby County. And then after just for a year, and then after that Chelsea signed him. So he's not so rich in experience to coach a big team like Chelsea.
Okay, let's quickly look at Paris Saint-Germain came back from that humiliation for Manchester United by beating Istanbul Basaksehir by 2-0 away. Thomas Tuchel and his boys got the results for the club.
That was really expected from them, because they lost their first match unexpectedly at home to Manchester United. So they had to come back stronger, and they did just that.
Okay, let's also look at some of the matches and results that happened in the Europa League. And we start by looking at Arsenal beating Dundalk by 3-1.
Yeah, that was a very...
The inclusion of Thomas Partey in the team, is he really having an effect on the Arsenal team?
Absolutely. I think he's doing well. I think he actually won the man of the match in the first game. The first Europa League game he played, he was the man of the match. He seems to be dominating the midfield so much. And has brought a lot of depth in the team. So he's going to help a lot.
Since Patrick Vieira left Arsenal years back, Arsenal had never had that kind of midfielder to do that trusted midfielder like of Makalele or Vieira, or ACN. These are guys that you can put in the midfield and be assured that these guys are going to deliver. But Thomas Partey coming in, is he a long-term solution to the Arsenal club? That it feels like one of those guys who are just going to play for some time and then get missing along the line or something? How would you assess Thomas Partey from now to like 5 years now?
I think you could easily tell right from the onset. Right from his first game, you could easily tell the way he was dominating the midfield. You could easily tell this is the one Arsenal has been missing for all these years. Because for a player to just come in like this and be dominating the midfield, it shows that it's really a world-class signing.
All right, let's also look at Real Sociedad and losing at home to Napoli, the Gennaro Gattuso side.
Well, that it's not so surprising, because Napoli...
It's a good team.
Yeah, we all know Napoli is a very big team, and it's not surprising to beat Real Sociedad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, let's also look at some of the matches that happened. And Leicester City winning away, beating AEK Athens by 2-1. It's
also not a fluke at all, because Leicester is a big team, and they've even played the Champions League. They've gone into the knockout stages of the Champions League before, so it's not a fluke at all to beat AEK Athens at all.
And Milan also winning Sparta Prague by 3-0.
Milan for some time now has still been struggling to get to the top or the pinnacle where they used to be. They're not there anymore. Now they seem to be struggling to get there, and all they do is to be playing the Europa League. So it looks like this is where they belong now. I don't know why.
But they've made some interesting signings, bringing in Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Sure. So we are hoping that
bringing in also Diego Dalot and a couple of guys.
Absolutely. So we are hoping that they get to the pinnacle where they used to belong. In those days of Andrei Shevchenko and Seedorf, those days Milan was a fearful team.
Sure.
We don't see that with Milan anymore. So we are hoping that they build it to get to that point where they used to be.
But to get to that top four status, they may have to dig deep, considering the likes of Juventus who are playing well with a good coach. We have Napoli, Gattuso, we have Lazio, we have Atalanta, we have Inter Milan, Conte.
Yeah. So they'll have to really do more to get to that point. Yeah.
And let's quickly look at it. Roma also drawing parity with CSK Sofia 0-0.
Roma is also not really pulling strings properly at the moment. I think the Roma we know now, the Roma we used to know is not the Roma we know now. I think they have to do well to come up a bit.
All right, and Lille also drawing 2-2 with Celtic.
That is, I believe it's a fair game.
It's a fair game.
Yes, it's a fair game. Celtic is playing well. For some time I've been playing well, and
And finally, Wolfsburg beating Feyenoord at home by 4-1.
Wolfsburg and Feyenoord. Feyenoord's home or Wolfsburg home?
Feyenoord was playing home and Wolfsburg went away.
That is not a good result for Feyenoord at all, because when you're home to lose to Wolfsburg by 4 goals to, I know Wolfsburg is also another big team, but then at your home to lose by 4 goals to nil is not good for Feyenoord at all.
All right, viewers, we'll go for another quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue with the program. Please don't go away. Welcome back from that quick commercial break. Let's quickly look at some of the upcoming matches in the EPL, in Spanish La Liga, in the Italian Serie A, the German Bundesliga, as well as the French Ligue 1. You already know I have with me in the studio Mr. Henry Osade, one of the finest sports analysts in the country who merits his discussion of facts and figures. Mr. Henry, the EPL has always been an interesting league, you know, over the past years. And every year, we've always had interesting results and shocking, you know, results as well. So let's quickly look at what the matches that happened on the 30th of October, which happens to be on Friday. Wolves and Crystal Palace, and the Wolves happened to beat Crystal Palace by 2-0. It's
not surprising because Crystal Palace hasn't started well this season, so it's not so surprising. The only probably the only good thing they did was to beat Manchester United. Apart from that, they've not been good enough. So it's not surprising that they lost to Wolves by 2-0. Okay, let's look at the fixtures that's happened during the course of the week in the EPL. And I'm talking about Sheffield United, who will be playing away to Manchester. Will be playing home to Manchester City. Burnley will also be hosting Chelsea, and as well Liverpool and West Ham. Liverpool and West Ham. Can you predict? Liverpool now have Van Dijk injured.
Yes. Do you think that is going to have an effect on this current Liverpool squad?
Absolutely. Van Dijk is a big money in the squad, and so for such a player to be injured means a whole lot. It means Van Dijk alone, he is not just a good defender. Remember, he's also a leader. He has the leadership skills, yes, to command the defense. So that will also be missing there. So it's a whole lot of things that will be missing in the team.
And Burnley playing at home against Chelsea. Chelsea won over the weekend in the Champions League by 4-0. Going to the game against Burnley, do you foresee them coming on top of?
Chelsea has been inconsistent, so it's tough to predict that they will win because they're very inconsistent. Sometimes the matches you were expecting them to win, they lose. Yes, so it's difficult to predict their games now.
And the big match this Sunday happens to be Manchester United versus Arsenal.
Sure, I think this is one of the big stages for Partey, because he now has a big game on his hand. So people will be looking at him and be asking questions. Now let's see whether he's a big game player. And I think one of the things that makes an outstanding player in the EPL is one that can control big games, not just the small games, but then big games. And I think that if he's able to do that today or tomorrow, he is going to be a very big player in the EPL.
Now another interesting fixture happens to be Leeds and Leicester City.
Leeds has been a very good team. It has been surprising to a lot of people. They've been a very big team since they began the EPL, since they came from the Championship. And it's not surprising if you look at their coach, Marcelo Bielsa, because that coach is a very experienced coach. And I think Pep Guardiola even forewarned the coaches in the EPL about him. He told them this guy is a very dangerous guy because he knew him. So Marcelo Bielsa to handle that team means a lot. So looking at it from that angle is not surprising. Yes.
Do you think they're going to win against Leicester?
I think it's possible they win against Leicester. Yeah.
All right, let's look at what some of the matches that's happening in the Spanish La Liga. And we have some interesting matches. Atletico Bilbao against Sevilla.
Bilbao and Sevilla, it's a tough game. Those two teams, it looks like an even match. Anything could happen. Yeah.
And we also have Real Madrid against Huesca. Is it going to be an easy match for Real Madrid?
Real Madrid, since the beginning of this season, hasn't been good at all, and they've been losing to even small teams. So it's possible they can lose again, but I don't expect that from them at all.
What do you think is the problem with the current Real Madrid squad?
Well, I think the teamwork is not really there now. I don't know why that is the issue, but they seem not to be gelling.
Yeah, they've played for a long time. They've won trophies together. If you look at, they still have the same players that they won trophies. You know, Casemiro, you have the Cruz, the Modric, you have the Varane, the Ramos. You know, Marcelo is there, Benzema is there. You know, Asensio is also there. So, and this guy seems to get in the whole system. Do you see maybe? Is it? I say for me, I'm looking at it from the fact that maybe there's no extra motivation for them. They've already achieved everything. Do you think the anger for success is no more there?
Of course. I think it could be argued as tired legs in that context. It looks like they've achieved everything. They seem to be tired now, and the same players are making it's like it almost looks like an end of an era. That is how it looks like now, and I think that probably changes should be done, and there should be enough motivation now and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's also look at Valencia and Getafe.
Valencia and Getafe is another cracker, big game, but I'm expecting Valencia to triumph over Getafe.
All right, let's also look at some of the matches that will be happening in this Italian Serie A. And we have some interesting matches lined up for you this week. We have Inter Milan against Parma. Antonio Conte is doing a good job at Inter Milan.
Sure. And I expect him to win this game.
You expect him to?
Sure, I do expect him.
Okay. So also look at Napoli against Sassuolo.
Yeah, Napoli should just walk over this.
All right, let's also look at Roma against Fiorentina.
That is a little bit of a big game. Fiorentina is also not, it's no walkover. So it will be a big game, but I expect Roma to triumph at the end.
And Udinese against AC Milan.
Milan, like I said earlier on, that Milan hasn't been the Milan that we know or that we knew for some time ago. But anything can happen though, yeah.
Okay. So then you also have Spiezia against Atlanta against Crotone.
It's an even game.
Looking at the Serie A, who do you think will dominate this season? Who do you think who is likely to win the league this season?
Well, Juve has been dominating there for some time now, and they seem to be the same team that might be doing it, but I'm hoping Inter gives them some challenge. Yeah.
Okay. So some of the matches that were happening in the EPL: Tottenham against Brighton.
Spurs. I think they have been impressive in this season. They've been impressive. They've been scoring goals like water. They've just been scoring goals, and I think the attack with Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, the click between them is really working very well. Yeah. So the attack is very, very sharp at the moment.
Do you think they're a contender for the EPL?
For that, I don't think so. I think they could be in the top 4, but I don't see them winning the EPL. No.
Let's also look at some of the matches in the German Bundesliga. And this week we have Mönchengladbach against Leipzig.
Yeah, I'm expecting Leipzig to win.
And Cologne against Bayern Munich.
Of course, Bayern, with the likes of Lewandowski and the others. this should be a walkover for them.
Schalke against Stuttgart.
I'm expecting Schalke, yeah.
And lastly, let's talk about the French League. Marseille against RC Lens. Paris Saint-Germain will be playing against Nantes away, and as well as Rennes against Brest.
Yeah, I think it should be a walkover for Paris Saint-Germain against Rennes. Yeah.
Okay, viewers, this is where time will permit us. We'll come your way again same time next week. But before I go, a quick appreciation to the management of Baina TV and as well as the production crew headed by Dr. Vibes. Please keep watching the list of our programs ranging from Baina News Stores and marital issues as well as Health Zone. Till we come again same time next week. Stay safe and bye-bye.
Ako omeka time ni wegbe anoye twa ni omani aba twa ni omani juno aba efi o ma kan mene ni shegbini mene Zaina TV ishabiye ame bani gamumu ame bana me kema bana yemu ke tomu ke shinawu e for ni minto make oblanta na memba acha election year ni minto make nyage kachin ke o no ya vote no bashia no bawo ni ka to asi sokoro ke no juku no abotui ni panye fai oblantana meba mi panye fai ne ka ani mu ko hanya shika ne ka ombre Ghana wonyede ne ba hanya shika ke klante ne ya nye kanye ya anu anemi kanye kite nye kanye ya anu mi ni ga mu tonjen mba ajeme no wo belig kanye wo nye ka ka wo tonwa because wo kanye we TV no wo kanye we radio no ku hankuri yayi na maza da mata ku hankuri ni na ku ni ga mu nike magana wo na daya da zan gaya muku matasai abokanai na yan waye na yanzu election yazo kuma election yazo ka san mun yanzu gomu ake use an use mu da kyau kuma an ba mu kudi kankani je ka fada don ga je ka fada don Allah don annabi ka kai don girma ya rasulullah ka kai don ka je kai in ya baro an zuwa kira mu aka zuwa ka kira mu ban zuwa in ka je za ka vote da safin ka tashi ka sa nose mask kan mai lafiya saboda yawan mutane ka sa nose mask ka da covid-19 ya zo saboda shi muna gudun ciwon sai ka je ka vote in ka je ka sa kuriyan sai ka zo gida yan waye ne abin da nake da shi message da nake da shi da zan gaya muku kenan ku yi hankuri anyami me ismoloye min panye fai kenye tenya vote na ne covid-19 ba mo fe won segbelegbe gbe ken segbelegbe onipa segbelegbe nu mo segbelegbe ni oko ya ta mu no smart fine no ke wo ogugo no ya ke mu ko tibo poka afo mo da boy do mo lie mi ka ta bi ne ba she no afo chikie ko fo chikie otan no ba sha no ba wo anemi me nsumoloy twa ni o manage na abla o twa ni o manage na aba